This video is to go through the start of the top-down garment pattern. As you can see in front of me, I've got the cardigan version. The jumper and the cardigan start in exactly the same way. You cast on stitches and then we have to set up a first row, which will be a wrong side row, in order to place these raglan seams. As you can see, there's 4 points around the garment which define the raglan. So in the setup row we put these in place so that we can then start working the rest of the garment. And for all sizes the garment starts in the same way. You will also have in your pack a worksheet which I will explain in the class, but I've got different coloured columns here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use stitch markers to correspond to the columns. So I've got 8 stitch markers in total, and as I start setting up I will be placing these stitch markers, and the placement of the markers will match the columns on your worksheet. So I'm just going to get set up with the sample. So I've cast on the number of stitches I need for the size I'm making, which is the medium size. And I'm now going to work the setup row, which sets up the raglan, the position of the raglans, and places the stitch markers. So the setup row starts with purl 1, and I'm going to place the first stitch marker, which will be a green one for me, and then I'm going to knit 1, because when we very first start I haven't got quite enough stitches to set up the full 3-stitch section of half of the cable panel, but it will come shortly. The next 2 stitches, which are the middle of the raglan panel, are purl through the back loop, so you have to come through the stitch from behind, because the cables are all what are known as twisted stitches, so you have to do a twisted stitch both on the right side and the wrong side, and this is a wrong side row. Take the yarn back and purl 2, and then place your next yarn marker, and we're on the wrong side row, so if I'm following my worksheet I'm actually following it across the row from left to right. So the next colour in the column is a red stitch marker. I then have to purl 2. This is the front edge. This is the raglan panel. This is the middle of the top of the sleeve, which is 2 stitches, and then I need to do another stitch marker. So my other red stitch marker, which I need to put on here. Then it's going to be knit 2, purl 2 through the back loop, so that's coming around and purling through the stitch, knit 2, and this brings me to the centre back, or the back section. So I'm going to put a blue marker to mark that this is the beginning of the back. I now have to purl 32 stitches for my size, So the stitch markers are being placed because this is where the increases are going to come as you're working around your garment. The increases are worked normally on right side rows, but in some of the larger sizes you will have to do some increases on wrong side rows. Let me just check my stitches. .24. So those are the 32 stitches across the back. I now place the other blue stitch marker, which marks the end of the back. Get myself some more yarn. So the raglan cable detail is on the wrong side is knit 2, purl 2 through the back loop, knit 2, and now I'm at the sleeve, so I'm going to put a yellow marker, purl 2, put another yellow marker, and then we're going to do knit 2, purl 2 through the back loop, which is a little bit tight at the minute. There we go, purl 1, 2, and then because this is the front, we haven't quite got enough stitches yet to be able to finish the cable panel, we're going to do knit 1, place the green marker, so that does tell me this is the front, and then purl 1. So I've now placed all my stitch markers and set up the pattern for the raglan. Each cable panel consists of 6 stitches, which on the right side row would be purl 2, knit 2 through the back loop, purl 2. But what you do need to remember is that half of that group of 6, for example here, that group of 3 belong to the top of the sleeve. That group of 3 belong to the back, and it's the same all the way around. You don't need to have that information, to remember that information just at the minute. You can just follow the pattern, but when we come further down and have to divide for the sleeves and the body, you will find that half of the panel will go to the sleeve and half of the panel will go to the body. So that's the setup row for the top down garment.